All right, what's up guys? I'm DJ, this is Gio, we're here from Erie Fitness Academy. We're gonna go over the top 5 things that you need to do to build some muscle. Guys, if you want arms like these, girls, if you want a butt like this, we're gonna tell you how to do that.
All right, Coach Gio here. So we're gonna go over the number 1 thing out of the 5 that you need to be able to build muscle. And that first thing is resistance training. If you don't have resistance training, you can't really build any of the musculature. So what you wanna do is be able to break down the muscle to be able to build it up. And the way you do that is by strength training. So it could be with cables, it could be with dumbbells, barbells, free weights, hey, whatever it is, resistance training is one of the key ways to be able to help you build muscle.
Most importantly, you wanna hit the big main compound lifts. You know, your deadlift, your back squat, your bench press, chin-ups, bent over rows, complex movements where you're using multiple joints of your body. And then you can finish off with some more isolated exercises.
So one of the typical things people think with the resistance training is like maybe body weight, but we want to take it a step further than that. If you're not taking resistance to the muscle, that you are constantly like trying to challenge it, that it is more than just your body weight, that you are trying to push the envelope with what your body's actually able to do, that's how you begin to like stress the muscles to be able to help grow them, to be able to help make them stronger. Because by doing just body weight exercises, you end up hitting the point where you just have to do more and more repetitions. We'll talk about that a little bit later, but there's a way that you want to be able to program your training that you stick within a certain rep range, and if you can hit weights in that rep range, it means you need to go up. So always having different changes to your program to have constant resistance, and again, we'll go over that a little bit later.
All right, the second thing you want to do is make sure you're in a calorie surplus. So if you're trying to lose or gain weight, it's all calories in versus calories out. So if you want to build some muscle, gain some weight, you got to eat more calories than your body is burning throughout the day. So making sure you're getting good high quality proteins, you know, your lean meats, your chicken, your fish, ground beef, ground turkey, steak, anything like that, making sure you're eating enough of that throughout the day to get enough protein in. And then making sure that your total calorie intake is over what you're consuming. Not by too much, but you know, 200 to 500 calories or so a day.
For some people, some of that, you know, might be a little bit more aggressive. You know, going through trying to be able to gain as much weight as possible, realize that if you do too many calories, that you're gonna also build some fat as well as the muscle. So there is a way to be able to do a little bit of both when you're trying to like have that bulking phase. But if you want to be able to stay as clean and like cut as possible, you don't want to increase your surplus too much. So as DJ said, you only want to stick between like 5 up to maybe 1,000 calories more than what your RMR or BMR might be, and making sure that you have clean calories with that so you're not gaining too much fat. That kind of takes us into number 3, and number 3 is having the right amount of protein intake. So based off of your BMR, RMR, and what you weigh, there's a strict amount of protein that you should take. General population should stick around like 0.5 gram per pound, whereas athletes and people that are really trying to put on a lot of muscle mass are gonna be around 1 gram per pound. And a good protein supplementation, if you're having trouble eating, is like the Valor Labs protein. It's one of the companies that we work with, and this one is very clean, having a higher amount of protein, lower amount of carbs. But hey, you know, it's not always about the supplementation. If you're not eating right, you shouldn't be supplementing in protein if your diet or what you're eating is junk. So making sure that you're eating good protein throughout the day, like DJ said, clean meats, making sure that you are getting the right stuff instead of just thinking that adding in the protein is gonna be able to help with that. So again, about 1 gram per pound is gonna be an aggressive way to be able to help build muscle. But remember, your carb intake and your fat intake also plays a role in this.
You can also have protein shakes like this just throughout the day if you need to have that extra protein, but also after your workout as well, making sure you're getting some carbohydrates to help make the protein actually work and then help rebuild those muscles. So this is something that can help you. There's plenty of other protein options out there. Just making sure they don't have a bunch of sugar in them is very important. Make sure it's clean and doesn't have too many added ingredients that are unnecessary.
Number four is progressive overload. It's one of the styles of training to be able to constantly challenge your muscles. So hey, bone density is a big piece of resistance training, why everybody needs to be able to do it, because you are constantly stressing the bones, but you're also stressing the musculature. So to be able to, what people would say, shock your body, I don't really like the term, but the idea that you are constantly making changes to your programming so your body doesn't get used to it. So the progressive overload is about trying to be able to change the amount of weight and reps that you are doing. So one of the things you do is like rep schemes. Trying to stick between power, strength, and hypertrophy. So most of the time you're not gonna be going into the power range, which is 1 to 4 reps, but not typically the ones unless you're maxing out. But ideally you wanna stick between 2 to 10. Like 12 is still in the hypertrophy range, but you don't wanna go too high in the repetitions because you're getting out of the strength range. So there's 2 different ways. Hypertrophy is all about being able to build the size of the muscle. So you never actually increase more muscle fibers, you just change the size of them. So hypertrophy is increasing the actual size of the muscles, whereas if you stick within the strength range, you're actually developing stronger muscle fibers instead of just making them bigger. So if you want to mix of both, sticking between that 2 to 6 range, and then always having the progressive overload means that, if you can hit 10 reps easily, you should be going up in weight and down in reps. And constantly having that challenge to yourself of like, having 5x5s is great, but if you're not changing the weights and you're just doing 5 sets of 5 reps consistently, you actually don't end up seeing that change after 4 to 6 weeks because you're just doing the same thing without making any adjustments to the programming.
So making sure you're adjusting something, increasing something with the intensity, that being either reps or weight, like Coach Gio said. That weight can be 2.5 pounds or 5 pounds every week, and that'll keep building. In 4 weeks, then you're up 20 pounds if you go with 5 pounds each week. So just trying to constantly increase and do a little more than you did before.
All right, number 5 is making sure that you have the proper recovery. There's this piece out there that people think that no rest equals the best results, and that's absolutely not true.
Hashtag beast mode.
Hashtag no rest, like rest is for the weak, like that's total crap. Because typically we work out 3 to 4, maybe 5 days a week. I went through that point of working out 6 to 7 days a week, and you don't really get to see a lot of results because you're always just crushing your body and not giving it time to actually build that musculature. And one of the best things is sleep. And if you are not getting 6 to 8 hours of sleep, hey, I know I'm saying 6 because I know some of you are getting 4 and you need to increase that up a little bit. Ideally 8 is the best, but start a little by little. Sleep is one of the biggest things. It's your body's time to be able to rebuild, recover, and get ready for the next day. So if you're just constantly crushing your body with high intensity, heavy lifts, anything like that, not only are you not gonna see results, but you're very likely to get injured. And then if you're injured, you don't get any results, you actually go backwards. So making sure that you have proper nutrition and proper recovery, proper sleep, all plays a huge factor in your strength training.
And with that recovery, working on, like mobility or doing different muscle work, tissue work to help make the muscles healthier and, work better. Doing other recovery methods if you need to, ice baths, cryotherapy, anything like that will also help as well.
Foam rolling using our mobility work that we did. Hey, all that stuff is great for range of motion and strength training. So guys, hey, if these 5 things helped you with your strength training, make sure you comment on it, make sure you share it with your friends, help them gain a little bit of muscle.
Like and subscribe.
All right guys, we'll see you soon.